Shalom Aleichem, and welcome again to all the listeners, all the wonderful friends of Kol Harav Yerushalayim who are here weekly listening to us say a few minutes of Divrei Chizuk from the Parsha. Thank you guys again, and of course thank you guys for coming to sit here and join us together live to be able to get some Chizuk for a few minutes. So, one of the wonderful things we have over here in Parshas Boy is the pasuk that says Ushmartem es hamatzos. Yes, we have Rashi quotes for us a very famous medrash, Ushmartem es hamatzos. We know that matzos needs to have shmira, but of course the medrash says you should know there's another way to read it. It's also Shmartem es hamitzvos. What's the comparison? The medrash says that matzos, we know if you leave it and you don't take care of it right away, so it becomes chametz. It becomes something which you can't eat on Pesach. So too over here, a person gets into a situation where he doesn't do a mitzvah, bizrizus, he doesn't jump to the opportunity to go and start and do a mitzvah right away. Such a person is going to make it that it's going to have ki'ilu a chametz taste. His mitzvah is going to be chamutz. He's going to be machmitz his mitzvah. Just like he can't eat that matzah, so too that mitzvah doesn't have the same power and the same koach and the same kedusha when he doesn't do a bizrizus. So we know zrizus is an unbelievable midah in the Torah. We find it in all the Sifrei Musar and the Shiurim. Everybody's always discussing why it's so important to do things bizrizus right away, not to think. There's so many opportunities that we have in our lives, whether it's a person inviting us to go listen to a shir for a few minutes or a few hours or a few years, to constantly be a part of a certain thing. Many people we've heard all over the world. You've heard of so many stories of people who they themselves said, I never wanted to learn Daf Yomi, and then one of my friends told me how good it is to go and join a certain shir, and every time he was lazy, but the one time he woke up and he said, I'm going to go and I'm going to push myself. And it was the koach that came from that zrizus, that koach gave him the special push, and he ended up being a person who was able to join the Siyumei Hashas that were in New York, and with all of Klal Yisrael, and he felt so good about himself. How many opportunities come in our lives that we are faced with this challenge of whether we're going to be lazy, and then it's going to be chametz out of it, or whether or not we're going to be bizrizus, and we're going to have a wonderful, wonderful outcome from this whole thing. We know that there's so many Gedolei Yisrael, the Chavetz Chaim included, and many people who were living in the times of the Haskalah movement, back in Volozhin, back in Europe in those days, where people were trying to get all the wonderful yeshiva brachim to go off the derech. And there were certain people that said that if they didn't make that decision to go and be mekabel on themselves right away, I'm going to do this. The Chavetz Chaim said about himself also, right? They almost tried to get him when he was a little boy. And he told himself, I am going to do this. What's this? I'm going to sit here and learn in yeshiva. I'm going to be a person who's going to finish the Mishnah Brura, and I'm going to make sure it comes out, and I'm not going to be lazy about it. And because he said he wasn't lazy about these things, Baruch Hashem, he was able to put out the Sefer Chavetz Chaim, Shmiras Haloshin, the Mishnah Brura, and all the wonderful things that he did for Klal Yisrael. Mirz Hashem, by all of us, B'siyata D'Shmaya, we will be able to continue to take every opportunity that comes our way, do it bizrizus, not be lazy about things, because we know, just like by matzah, the laziness causes that we can't even eat it, we can't enjoy that piece of matzah on Pesach, so too the mitzvahs and all of our avodas HaKodesh, all of our avodas Hashem, should always be bizrizus. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Thank you all for coming again, and thank you all for listening. And everyone should be matzliach again. Great Shabbos. Kol Tov, everybody.